Oh shit.
Hey guys, my name's Stephen. I'm the author of Dear John. Um, I'm joined today with Snow Owl or Brendan, whatever he wants to be called in this. Um, he is the one that's actually beta reading everything I write. He's our official beta reader and just sort of tests the story and the waters of what I write to make sure that it all makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
basically my
tr
job.
Trust me, there's been some weird shit.
There has. Enjoyable shit though. That's the thing.
Yes. So, Brendan, would you like to explain what you've already read? What do you think Dear John's about?
Well, for me, Dear John is about love, and running to that lover. But
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes you never really know what what they could say sometimes. So that's what makes it really interesting, since
Mm.
each little note is more different from the next. So it
Yeah.
always keeps you thinking. That's how I feel it. That's how I feel about it.
The the differences in letters. I know we've decided to take a different writing style with this, and a lot of people wouldn't really agree. But what do you feel benefits us from the letters and from like normal paragraphs on the book?
Hmm. No, I guess like when I see things, like a story or written things, right?
Mm.
I always like them to be as real as possible. Sometimes it doesn't need to be a page. It can be a note as well, and still be interesting. I
Mm.
mean,
And
yeah,
yeah. And I think that's why we went with the new sort of writing style is you find a lot more when you read people's letters, and I found a few letters from some people that have been hidden away and in storage, and you read
yeah,
the letters, they're uninhibited. They're not like you get the side of the story that you wouldn't normally get, and I know particularly with when you read a book, you get the author's interpretation of the story. Whereas if you read somebody's letters, you get their honest opinion on, you know, honest to goodness, we'll do what we want sort of opinion. And I
yeah,
think that's what really holds us apart in regards to what our story says is we're giving you guys the chance to read these letters and and what they do for everybody. And in the end, um, what the letters show is the honest to goodness truth. And
exactly.
yeah,
It's
you
always a good.
you can't sugarcoat letters. Once they're
No,
sent, they're gone forever.
yeah, and that's what I really enjoy about Dear John is it has that. I mean,
Mm,
with I don't know a novel, you can do what you want pretty much with it, make it twist and turn. But when you have a note or a letter, you know,
mm,
like you said, once you send it, you can't get it back. So you always have to choose wisely on what you say.
mm. I so could make a bad Australia Post joke there, but I bet not.
I've been thinking about that, trust me.
um, but this story is essentially about letters that aren't sent and letters that are from the heart, and time will only tell how the letters will end up. And we already know where the story's going. We already know that we're trying to make it as heartwarming and as heartfelt as possible. And um, I've shared with you some thoughts in regards to the ending. Not telling you should spoil it for people, but just
Yeah,
in regards to the ending, what do you think? Is it acceptable, or from what we've discussed, do you find it to be very lead up? like how it leads up, and leaves the reader sort of guessing on what the outcome of the book will be.
That is a good one for me. It is acceptable the way things are going. So anything can happen at the end. So that's
I
what I
I
think.
know I know particularly with the first ending we discussed, you weren't very happy with it, and you discussed it, and we did discuss it, and we sort of found out that yes, it was a bit all of a sudden sort of thing. So we're
Yeah.
trying to go through all this build up and then sort of failing. Um, but um, so Brendan here is actually the one that's going to be beta reading the whole book. He will also be choosing one particular person who's on the Indiegogo campaign, or who likes us on Facebook or stays in tune with our updates. He'll be picking the person that gets one free copy of the book. Um,
And of course all at random. Some.
but do note that if you do post like bad comments or things that are detrimental to particular people or the page, we will have to moderate certain things on the channel, and particularly on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
Um,
we don't want that, pissing off others, so we had to step up.
Okay, moving on, we're going to discuss what the Indiegogo campaign does mean. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go into my notes here. So let's start. First off, hold on. I need to change that to a different screen. You may look at me looking around is because I'm on two separate screens. Oh God, I look fugly now. Um, so what what does our campaign mean, and what does it mean to support us? As we're self publication, our money is what helps us with certain things, particularly with funding. And a lot of publicators or publishers need crowdfunding to help us um, gauge what our market is and how many we want to print. Now, particularly with the way that we're planning on marketing it with Google Play editions, iBook editions, um, ebooks, and particularly in paperback form, um, our Indiegogo campaign actually allows us to get a gauge and sort of go back to our backers and go, this is what our publisher will give us, this is what you guys get, um, and it'll allow us to at least give you guys an idea of what you're going to get. We're aiming to give you guys the best perks that we can, while also maintaining our sort of our publication. Let's have a look. As I said in the description, contributors are the backbone of the effort and will allow us to see a unique author express himself and allow him to tell a story of heartbreaking letters that everybody writes and reads sometimes in the short life. As you know, sometimes you get Dear John letters, sometimes you get letters that just you can't expect, you can't see coming, and they break your heart. And essentially, this shows that. Um, but we're no matter what, we're aiming to bring the story to you guys, and mainly through this whole thing is if we don't reach our target, we won't be bringing out any paperbacks. We won't be bringing out half the stuff that we want, and we won't be able to share our story with you guys. And as with any crowdfunding campaign, there are risks involved, and I know that a lot of people don't like to fund and things like that. But as I said, as with any crowdfunding campaign, it comes with the risks that the product won't be released on time or manufacturing delays for users to get their copies. We will aim to minimize such risk as possible by keeping backers appraised every step of the way, keeping on top of our publishers as much as possible. We will try and keep you guys updated once a week with how they're progressing. Currently, as it stands, at release of our Indiegogo campaign, we're actually up to chapter 4, which to you guys doesn't mean very much because we won't be actually doing chapters in the book, but it means we're actually up to page 60 something. Uh, we're aiming to keep it around the 100 to 200 page mark. Black and white, you know, uh, but it will change and we will get the story out of it and everything. Um, but if you can't help and if you can't um, contribute, and we know that some people can't, we know that crowdfunding is a bit iffy for some people. All we ask is that you share this video, share the campaign, share us, and bring us out to a wider audience, wider um, crowdfunding people. You don't have to contribute. But it'd be nice for you guys to give us a shout out, show people what they want. Um, but before we wrap it up, I've actually got the very first letter from Dear John. And I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. It's also in the Indiegogo campaign. It's either below or in the YouTube annotation somewhere. You'll find it. So before I end this, if you guys have any questions, simply email me. Um, Again, email will be in the description, or you can go through the Indiegogo mail system. Either way. Um, but it has been a while since I sent you a letter. Is essentially what the first letter is called. We write each letter individually. We make sure that each letter is done really well. And I'm the one that's writing this. I'm the one that's editing it. Brendan is the beta reader. He comes back and tells me whether it's congruent with the story or if he thinks it needs to be adjusted. And you always get something from me. Brendan's not writing anything. Brendan's only here to beta read. So yes, the first letter, it says, Dear John, it has been a while since I sent you the letter. Even though I know it won't get to you, I just had to write you a letter. It's been a few years since we last talked, after a big fight, when you said you never want to talk to me again. But John, I miss you. Do you remember how we met? How you hated me since the very first second you were introduced? How I set you on fire? Even though I didn't intend to, you took so much offense to it and blamed me for it. But isn't it crazy what you think of when you have a person stuck in your head? At night, isn't it? And that is probably why I can't sleep. It's because I'm thinking of you and what we had before I screwed it up. Anyway, they're turning off the lights. I should head to bed. Greg. Now, that ends our campaign video. We'll keep you guys updated every week with new videos, new stuff, and yeah, we'll keep you guys appraised as much as possible, and hopefully you can donate and fund. Bye.
Bye.